Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I am Melody Mendez from the NBC Boston and Telemundo stations. I am absolutely thrilled to be hosting this year's Red Cross Boston Heroes Breakfast, brought to you by Natixis Investment Managers. Thanks for being here. Look, if you joined us last year, you may already have a sense of what's in store for you this morning. And if you're new to it all, let me tell you, you are in for a treat. Over the next hour, we're going to share the stories of local heroes across 8 different categories. Some of them are being honored for a lifetime of work. Others are being honored for a moment, one single moment of time of life-changing action. We can't wait for you to meet all of them. But before that can happen, I want to introduce you to the 2 people who make this whole event possible: Red Cross of Massachusetts CEO Holly Grant and the president and CEO of Natixis Investment Managers, David Junta.
Thank you, Melody. We are so happy to have you back in the anchor chair again. Now, David, this is your first time chairing the Boston Heroes Breakfast, and you've done an incredible job pulling together support from all over Greater Boston. Now that we're here, are you excited to see the finished product?
Absolutely, Holly. I've really enjoyed working with business and community leaders on such a meaningful project. After the last couple of years it feels really good to celebrate these amazing people who have done extraordinary things in our community. Many of the heroes we'll recognize today are individuals who did something amazing in the face of a crisis. But these awards really recognize acts that go above and beyond, and they speak to their training and commitment. And of course, some of the heroes we'll recognize today are everyday people who did something amazing in the face of a crisis.
So true. I'm so grateful that I'm able to see Red Crossers doing this humanitarian work every day. But I think what I'm most excited about is that most of the heroes we're honoring today weren't even in the Red Cross fold when they performed their heroic act. Even so, they represent exactly what we look for in our volunteers and staff: a caring heart and a willingness to help wherever and whatever that help that's needed.
In that case, let's get started. Melody, who is our first hero we will be honoring?
Okay, David, on that note, I have my box of tissues ready. Trust me, if you're at home watching this, you're going to need them. So our first hero is Mark Collum. Mark is a commercial fisherman. He's carried deep grief for the last 20 years, ever since he lost his wife and 2 children in a tragic fire. A few months ago, when Mark saw flames coming from his neighbor's home, he didn't hesitate to act. The American Red Cross Good Samaritan Hero Award is sponsored by Empower Retirement.
My name is Mark Richard Collum. I am a commercial fisherman out of Ipswich, Mass. 21 years ago, I was coming out of work and the whole home was just engulfed. I heard this yelling through the window of "Help me, fire, fire," or something. I said, "Something's wrong next door," and looked out and said, "The whole house is on fire out back." And that's when I grabbed my clothes, whatever I had on, no socks or anything, just took it on. And she was in the kitchen, disorientated, and the smoke was starting to billow into the kitchen. The back was on fire, and I just kind of grabbed her with a little bear hug, took her down 3 or 4 flights of stairs, and took her across the road. I really do feel like maybe that was something that maybe, because I've been living with this burden for 20 plus years, and I always put a facade on my face that I'm happy and everything, but every day I still feel like that. Why wasn't I there? How come I couldn't help them or anything? And now I helped her out. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a blessing that happened. I don't know.
If that doesn't bring a tear to your eye, I don't know what will. Here's the thing. Home fires are the most common disaster the Red Cross responds to. On average, there's one every 8 minutes. We cover them all too often right here in our newsroom. And there's one constant across all of these fires. The Red Cross is always there. The first Red Crossers to arrive meet with the families impacted to see what they need. Now, this could be anything from shelter, a place to sleep, a place to bring their children, or money to buy a change of clothes. Sometimes it's just a bottle of water and a comforting hug. In the weeks that follow, Red Cross caseworkers will stay in touch with those families. They'll connect them with services in their own communities as they begin the process of recovering. As you can only imagine, the emotional toll is huge. So the Red Cross has a team of licensed social workers and mental health care providers who volunteer their time to support every client's emotional needs and the mental health of our disaster responders as well. Are you ready to meet another hero, or more accurately now, heroes? This time last year, we were celebrating the fact that 3 new COVID vaccines, including one made right here in Massachusetts, were just starting to go into production. You remember those days all too well, right? Well, before those vaccines hit shelves, they were met with a lot of questions, some skepticism, and even confusion about how and where to be vaccinated. The students you're about to meet made it their mission to educate their communities about the options, to debunk myths, and ultimately make sure everyone has a fair shot at getting the shot. Our Youth Hero Award goes to the young leaders of the COVID-19 Vaccine Equity Project. The American Red Cross Youth Hero Award is sponsored by Columbia Threadneedle Investments.
I would mostly see people not agreeing with doctors and scientists, and mostly because of past history.
Getting to be a part of that and getting my community back to normal, back to healthy is important for me, and I wanted to be a part of that.
It was like I'm doing something active in my community for kind of the first time.
Anything I can do to give back to the people who raised me and to the kind strangers who maybe helped me on a day that I didn't know.
I never thought that I would be recognized as a community hero.
I think this is the highest award I've ever gotten, basically, and it just makes me feel that I'm really out here being a hero.
It reminds me that everyone can be a hero, everyone can make a difference, even no matter how small, no matter how small.
What's going on, everyone? This is Chase Winovich of the New England Patriots. Wanted to give a quick congratulations to all the heroes for everything you do and everything that you are, and also shout out the Red Cross for all the great work that you do. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy.
Thanks, Chase. Not everyone knows this, but Chase has been heavily involved in philanthropic work since at least his college days, and he has done a great deal to help others over the years. And Chase, good luck in Cleveland. We're certainly all going to miss you. As we know all too well, Massachusetts was hit early by the COVID-19 pandemic and was forced to quickly learn and adapt safety measures at a time when no playbook existed. The outcome could have looked a lot different if not for the leadership of our next speaker, Governor Charlie Baker. Governor Baker has a long background in healthcare management, but he also has a long history with the Red Cross. It's my pleasure to introduce our Governor, Charlie Baker.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I want to thank the Red Cross of Massachusetts and my old friends at Natixis Investment Managers for putting on this important event for the second year in a row. I also want to just pause for a minute and say how much I will look forward to having this event at some point in person again. This event in particular is an event that my wife Lauren or I have had a chance to attend at various times over the course of what must be going on a decade now. And we really do look forward to hearing the stories and seeing the people who make up the story that is, year after year, the Red Cross here in the Commonwealth of Mass. Virtually, you can sort of get it, but the beauty of in-person is you can really get it. And this is an organization that time and time again comes when people call, in many cases in most of their most difficult moments. And that is what truly makes it special, not just here in Massachusetts, not just around the country, but at this point in time, as I think about the state of the world, around the world. I also want to thank the Leadership Council, Bob Reynolds, Catherine D'Amato, and David Junta for their hard work on making this event happen. Now, last year, the inaugural Boston Heroes Breakfast took place on the one-year anniversary of the declaration of the state of emergency in response to COVID-19. Though the state of emergency has ended, the heroes on the front line of this pandemic have continued to go above and beyond. The Red Cross of Massachusetts and the incredible work that it does is an organization and close to my heart. My wife, Lauren, I think as many of you know, has been a dedicated board member and volunteer for years, and we give blood on a regular basis, although based on the phone calls we get, not quite as regular as the Red Cross might like. It is one small way, by the way, everyone on this call, everybody in this meeting, everybody participating needs to know that it's one small way that you can make a big difference. And I wouldn't be doing my job based on the amount of incoming we get from the Red Cross if I didn't point out how important it is these days especially that everybody who can give blood should give blood. But I digress. Today we're talking about the Red Cross honoring the men and women who have stepped up in extraordinary ways to make where they call home just a little better. Those honored today come from many different backgrounds. Some are professional first responders. Boy, have they had an interesting couple of years. Others are civilians, also had a couple of years, and some are students who've also had an interesting couple of years. But what you all have in common is that you've never hesitated to go farther, to do that one extra thing in many of these stories that have helped save lives. Simply put, when the Red Cross in your communities called, you answered. And to the heroes who are gathered here today, on behalf of the people of Massachusetts, you have our gratitude and appreciation. I want you to take pride in your accomplishment, and that by sharing your stories, we're hoping that you'll inspire others who come forward after you. I want to thank everybody again. I hope you enjoy the breakfast. And let me just say, those Red Cross breakfasts that I've attended over the course of many years with my wife and with other friends for other events, they're really special. And I look forward to seeing you all in person at some point down the road or at a blood drive. Take care.
Thank you, Governor Baker. With the state of the world right now, I've been asked a lot about how the Red Cross is responding to the crisis in Ukraine. The American Red Cross is part of a global Red Cross network, and the International Red Cross and the National Red Cross Societies have been on the ground, both in Ukraine and neighboring countries, working tirelessly to provide emergency humanitarian aid to people seeking safety and shelter. Even wars have rules. At the Red Cross, we're insistent that civilians and aid workers be protected from harm during this violence. While the American Red Cross is not in Ukraine, we have deployed specially trained staff to the region to support humanitarian relief efforts for Ukrainians. We have also deployed team members to serve U.S. military personnel and their families, U.S. State Department staff and their families, and others who are returning to the United States. Serving the military is part of our charter on which the American Red Cross was built. So we're proud to honor the soldiers of the 101st Field Artillery Regiment from right here in Massachusetts for their work rescuing both military personnel and civilians from Afghanistan in the final days before the fall of Kabul.
Our soldiers were put in a very unique spot of not only having to do their job on the deployment, but also provide humanitarian aid, keep a very large number of people safe, and make sure that all of that ran smoothly with very limited resources.
And at every turn throughout those last couple of weeks, we asked them to do more than just their job, more than just delivering food, more than just delivering water. And at every opportunity, they stepped up. They figured it out and they accomplished it with very limited resources, with no hot food, in some instances, sleeping on the floor when they had to. And they always rose to the challenge. And that was incredible to watch and to be a part of.
You know, heroic is a strong word for most soldiers to accept, but the idea of watching American soldiers in a stressful situation perform at their very best is something that you want to see your entire career, and to see it unfold and happen in front of you is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
As the daughter of an Air Force veteran, thank you to all of those who serve. It's just incredible to hear your stories. Look, by 9 a.m., the Red Cross hopes to raise an additional $75,000. Here's the thing, this morning goes by so quickly. And thanks to another generous sponsor, that target, that $75,000, is within reach. So every dollar donated now through the end of this event this morning is going to be generously matched by our two virtual challenge sponsors, Robert Kraft and the Kraft Family Foundation, and Herb Chambers. Together, they're putting up $50,000 to help carry this event over the finish line. Let's hope that we can do it. So the Red Cross would like to thank three donors who just made really generous gifts. Debbie Ford and Catherine D'Amato have just given $5,000. Thank you to them. And thank you to Loomis for your $5,000 gift as well. And Wells Fargo Advisors have given $2,500. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you want to donate, the instructions are right at the side of your screen right now. Please help us reach this goal this morning. As you've probably heard right now, the Red Cross is only now really starting to come out of the extended national blood crisis that was really brought on by the challenges of the pandemic. Every 2 seconds, just to give you perspective here, every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs blood. Here in Massachusetts, the Red Cross needs to collect almost 300 donations every day on average. 300 folks a day need to give up their time and go donate blood just to keep up with the hospital needs. A single car accident victim can use as many as 100 units of blood. Now, for other patients, for instance, those living with sickle cell disease, regular blood transfusions are the only thing that can stop an excruciating pain crisis in its tracks. So raising awareness about sickle cell disease and its impact on communities of color is a major initiative of the Red Cross. Here in Massachusetts, Blood Services hero Sydney Murray is helping get that message out. This award for the American Red Cross is sponsored by MFS.
I'm Sydney A. Murray II. I'm a board member and I'm chairman of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Southeastern Massachusetts chapter of the American Red Cross. I'm originally from New York, so during 9/11, I saw all the great things the Red Cross was doing, and I wanted to be involved. It's made me a humanitarian. It's one thing when you help your family, or you help your friends, or some people, their jobs, they get paid to help. It's different when you go to help people. You've never met them, there's no money in it for you, nobody's looking. It hits you differently. It's a different feeling. I was introduced to this young man, Jeff. He's a sickle cell warrior. And so he starts telling me about his experience. And I'm looking at how weary he is in his eyes from the journey and going through all the transfusions. And he explained to me how it's like glass going through his veins. So when I recently heard that Jeff had been hospitalized, it's something different because he's family now. He's out of the hospital, and my first question was, how can we support him? Yes, this fuels my fire to go out and educate people about sickle cell and the benefits of donating blood, but also how can I support him? When we think about these things and all the people we meet, this is how we should think. The world will be a better place if we don't wait to give the shirt off your back, but look to see what people need, what they're going through, and how to help them. You know, what's the saying, the Red Cross mantra is we're in this together.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. It's an honor to be joining the Red Cross of Massachusetts and Natixis Investment Managers in celebrating this year's Red Cross Heroes and recognizing the incredible work of all of our first responders. As mayor, I see every day the challenges our communities face: systemic racism, disparities in our healthcare system, substance abuse, and mental illness. But more importantly, I've learned that the solutions to our deepest challenges already exist right here in our communities. The Red Cross's mission is to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. Our next honoree embodies that spirit. Ms. Ruth Rollins lost her son to an act of gun violence in 2007. In the face of unthinkable loss, she found purpose serving her community, creating Operation Lipstick, an organization that empowers women to keep illegal guns off our streets, dedicated to preventing tragedies like the one that took her son's life. And she didn't stop there. To address the root causes of violence and honor her son's legacy, Ruth founded the We Are Better Together Warren Daniel Hairston Project, bringing together families on both sides of gun violence to make peace and build community. Through her work, Ms. Rollins has touched so many lives, including my own. Last fall, I had the honor of visiting We Are Better Together. I joined mothers and community members dedicated to ending cycles of violence and trauma in our neighborhoods. And I saw firsthand the amazing energy that Ruth and her team bring to this work. It is my privilege to announce Ruth Rollins as this year's Red Cross Community Impact Hero. Congratulations, Ruth, and congratulations to all of this year's heroes.
My name is Ruth Rollins. I am the founder and executive director of We Are Better Together Warren Daniel Hairston Project. In 2007, my son, Warren Daniel Hairston, was murdered still to an unsolved homicide. When my son passed away, they would have considered him somebody that was causing harm in the community. And instead of honoring my son, they had his criminal record in the paper. And I have another son that was incarcerated due to gun violence. I didn't give up. I continued to walk in my truth. I continued to touch and inspire others that was going through exactly what I was going through, because at the time there was no services in place that worked with a mother that lost a child due to community violence and incarceration. We Are Better Together Warren Daniel Hairston Project works with women and girls that are affected by homicide and incarceration to break the cycle of violence and victimization. A lot of women that come to our organization are impacted by homicide or incarceration, and similar to my story, they may even be impacted on either side. So we had an opportunity of working with two families actually, one that had lost their loved one due to a homicide, and the other family that had caused harm to that family in a direct result of losing that child. And as we worked with them, there was friction in space. We continued to work with that family, and they were able to embrace and able to continue to work together, because we believe that we are the change we see. If we come together and if we continue to work together, we have the opportunity to interrupt the cycle of violence for the next generation. I get emotional. I know, because I don't know where I get the strength sometimes, and I know Danny's with me. I just know that he gives me the strength and the courage to go forward and use my story and his legacy to help others, and I don't know where I get it from, but he is my strength. He is on my shoulders, and he's like, go ahead, mommy, come on, you can do it, you can do it. I get emotional. We do believe in accountability, but we lead with compassion and empathy, because everyone belongs, and we need everyone to play their part, to lift up community, to help interrupt the cycle of violence, so we can heal as a community, as we can heal as a nation, remove the stigma and shame, because we are better together.
What a legacy, Ruth, you have built for your son, Danny. We're all better because we live in a community with folks like you. The American Red Cross would like to thank Putnam Investments for sponsoring the Community Impact Hero Award, and thanks to Mayor Wu for presenting it. Look, the reality is we're so lucky to be surrounded by strong women leaders in our community, in our government, and right at the Red Cross. We want to give special mention to our Tiffany Circle. They are doing their own philanthropic work around this event. The Tiffany Circle is a community of female leaders. They advance the American Red Cross mission through a focused investment of time, talent, and treasure by engaging and embracing women locally, nationally, and even internationally. I encourage you to visit redcross.org/MA to learn more. It is 8:24 right now. Let's check back in with Holly Grant at the Natixis Investment Manager Studio. Holly.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention that while March is Red Cross Month, it's also Women's History Month. Our national president and CEO, Gail McGovern, is a shining example in both those categories. She took the reins at a time when very few women were being tapped for national C-suite roles, and she is a true servant leader. I have been honored to work alongside Gail on the ground in the midst of national disaster relief operations. What I can tell you is that Gail has never forgotten all the years she spent in Boston, both in the business community and teaching at Harvard. Please welcome Red Cross President and CEO, Gail McGovern.
Hi everyone, this is Gail McGovern, and I have the privilege of serving as President and CEO of the American Red Cross. On behalf of our entire organization, I am delighted for this opportunity to congratulate each of the heroes being honored today. You truly are an amazing group of people, and your courage and humanitarian spirit represent the very best of our Red Cross values. I am so pleased to also extend a great big thank you to today's Heritage Awardee, David Genta, the President and CEO of Natixis Investment Managers. David is serving as our event chair, and he has gone above and beyond to engage Boston leaders with this year's breakfast. And I know he and John Stratler, the chair of our Red Cross Regional Board of Directors and the vice chair for this event, have put together quite a celebration this morning. And of course, I'd also like to give a huge thank you to my dear friend Bob Reynolds, the president and CEO of Putnam Investments. Bob launched this event last year, and we truly couldn't have gotten our Heroes celebration off the ground in the middle of a pandemic without his leadership. Bob continues to be an incredible champion of the Red Cross, serving as honorary chair for this year's event. And finally, I also want to share my heartfelt appreciation for Catherine D'Amato, who chaired our Heroes Council, which selected the class of heroes whom we'll be honoring today. I lived in Boston for years, and I'm not surprised to see all these incredible organizations stepping up to help those in need. Thank you to every community leader on our Heroes Council, and thank you as well to every business luminary on our Leadership Council. You truly made the work of the Massachusetts Red Cross possible. In the last year, our organization has responded to significant disasters across the country, including the Kentucky tornadoes, Hurricane Ida, and deadly western wildfires. And the Red Cross has also been incredibly active right here in Massachusetts. Together, we've responded to 740 home fires. We collected almost 100,000 units of life-saving blood from compassionate blood donors. We provided more than 2,500 emergency contacts for military members, veterans, and their families. And we delivered more than 3 million pounds of food to families in need through our Boston Food Pantry. None of this work, none of it, would be possible without your support, your dedication, and your wonderful humanitarian spirits. As many of you know, our organization's founder, Clara Barton, was born in Massachusetts, and I am proud to say that 201 years later, you're carrying on her beautiful legacy of service. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you again for your unwavering commitment to the American Red Cross, and please enjoy today's event. Thank you.
We show up to help people impacted by natural disasters receive critical care. We show up at house fires that tear through our neighborhoods to make sure families have shelter, food, safety. We respond to floods, power outages, and blood shortages 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our first responders are trained with life-saving skills and lend a shoulder to lean on. We are the American Red Cross of Massachusetts. Help support our life-saving missions. Visit redcross.org/MA to donate.
All right, so you just heard Gail there talking about Clara Barton. Let's get a quick history lesson here. I promise this one's an interesting one. It was her experiences nursing wounded Civil War soldiers that really fostered her humanitarian spirit and eventually led her to found the American Red Cross, right? She was integral. She was a nurse. And as we've all seen these last 2 years, nurses are still our first line of defense in the battle against the spread of COVID-19. No one perhaps knows that more than our next hero. Jeanette Ives Erickson has met thousands of nurses through her roles as chief nurse at Mass General, instructor at Harvard Medical School, author of 3 books on nursing, and most recently, the co-medical director and operations director of the Boston Hope COVID Field Hospital. The American Red Cross Nursing Hero Award is sponsored by Shepherd Kaplan Krochuk.
Jeanette Ives Erickson. I'm the Chief Nurse Emerita at the Massachusetts General Hospital and was one of the co-leaders of the Boston Hope Field Hospital. When in high school, I made the decision to apply to go to nursing school. Not 1 second regret. It's a sacred trust. I mean, if we think about COVID, I knew immediately I needed to get into the fight, right? I think we all felt as if we needed to do something. I received a phone call from Peter Slavin, who was the president of the Mass General at the time, and he began to share with me the vision for Boston Hope, to care for patients that were overcrowding our healthcare system. I said, I'm in, what do I do now? And he said, well, don't you want to hear more about what they are expecting? I said, no. Who do I call?
The last 2 patients at Boston's coronavirus field hospital are going home.
So I'm not a hero. Let's start there. I am not a hero. I worked with heroes. We hired 1,000 employees, people in our community that could have stayed home because their clinics were closed, their businesses were closed. No, they came to the Boston Convention Center each and every day. Those providing direct care and the patients themselves are the heroes. I was the facilitator.
How you doing, everybody? This is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys. Happy to be taking part here in the Boston Heroes Breakfast. Look at all these hometown heroes here today. I want to thank you all for your service and your bravery. I also want to thank the Red Cross of Massachusetts for hosting this wonderful event. Enjoy.
Thank you, Ken. And I want to just take a moment and call out just how many of our local Boston celebrities have stepped up to send their congratulations to all of our heroes. It is certainly deserved. Thank you to all of you for doing that. Even if it feels like we're only just emerging from 2 years of isolation, right? It's obvious that your work is being noticed. Folks are noticing and are grateful. All right, it's time to check out our fundraising goals right now. The goal here was to raise $75,000 by 9 a.m., right? It's 8:33 right now. Here's where we stand. $580,000 have been donated so far. We are crushing our goals this morning. Every dollar donated now through the end of the event is going to be generously matched. That's up to $50,000 by our 2 virtual challenge sponsors. That's Robert Kraft and the Kraft Family Foundation, as well as Herb Chambers. So please keep donating. I know we're past our goal, but we just want to keep that number climbing up. The instructions are right on the side of this page. Please help the Red Cross this morning. All right, remember that old saying about how some people are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them? Well, no offense, Shakespeare, but we're going to add a 4th part to that. Those who have chosen greatness as a career and still went above and beyond. That is really the only way to describe our next 2 heroes. Officers Nelson Suve and Marcus Cunningham, who trained as police officers, but found themselves rushing into a burning building to save an elderly woman. The American Red Cross Emergency Professional Hero Award is sponsored by Mintz.
My name's Marcus Cunningham. I work for the Barnstable Police Department. I'm currently a patrol officer there. I've 2.5 years now I've been there for. We go to calls where someone or multiple people could be having the worst day of their lives. You have an opportunity to actually make a positive impact on somebody. So that night, I believe it was a newspaper guy called in saying he could see flames in a house in Centerville. I happened to be the first one there. I saw the flames in the living room. All the windows were completely black. It was myself and also Officer Nelson Suve. I heard him over the radio, so I yelled to him that the side door was unlocked. I opened the side door. I could see a female unconscious in the kitchen. He came and grabbed one end of her. I grabbed the other end, and we were able to remove her from the residence. That door that I opened, that was the first contact that the fire had with oxygen outside the residence, so everything just kept flowing out. When we removed her from the residence, she still had a pulse, and then they transported her to the hospital, and I believe eventually she came up towards Boston. She has made a recovery. I guess I really wasn't thinking, I just was in the mode if there's something I can do, I want to be able to do it. For us in particular, I definitely feel honored to be receiving this award. You guys, the Red Cross sees, plenty of stories over the years, and they decided that our story was worthy of recognition, and so I'm grateful for that, and I'm honored for this opportunity.
What's up, Massachusetts? Devin McCourty here at the New England Patriots, and I just want to say I'm so proud to see so many local heroes being honored here today. So appreciative of what you do. Thank you for all you do, and keep doing it. You're making everyone proud. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Statler. I'm the chairman of the Regional Board of Directors of the Massachusetts Red Cross. I'm here representing our directors who spend an awful lot of time promoting the mission of the Red Cross within Massachusetts as well as nationally. I'm proud to be the chair. I'm also proud to be the husband of a Tiffany Circle member, a group of women who do an awful lot promoting what the Red Cross does in our community. I want to thank you all for joining what is fast becoming one of our signature events here in Boston. Maybe next year we'll even get to do this in person. A big part of why these events have been so successful is because of the calibers of leaders who are part of them. And I'm very thankful for the executive committee who has done so much over the last couple months getting ready for this. Last year's event was chaired by Bob Reynolds of Putnam Investments. Bob has agreed to stay on as the honorary chair, and I, for one, would thank Bob just because of the leadership that he provided last year and for this year, and really promoting the fact that we should be focused on the heroes among us, not on the leaders, but those who are doing so much within our community. Bob has awful big shoes to fill, and this year's event is chaired by David Ginta, who is the CEO of Natixis Global Asset Managers. And I'm proud to say that David has certainly lived up to those expectations and brought in a few traits of his own. Working closely with David, I saw absolutely firsthand on how much the enthusiasm that he has towards this project has been infectious to others. I am proud to name David Ginta as the 2022 Heritage Award winner. David, congratulations, and thank you for all of your effort and leadership on this event. And as you're about to see, it's David's leadership and spirit of giving which is embodied within Natixis and what they do here in our community. So thank you, everybody.
Sustainable value, more meaningful returns, a sense of purpose, clarity, and most importantly, resolve. At Natixis Investment Managers, when we think about investing, we think beyond the balance sheet. Our multi-affiliate model means our asset managers have greater autonomy. We believe that diverse opinions lead to better outcomes. And as a truly active manager, we're highly engaged and laser-focused on the long term. We consider the best interests of our clients, employees, and the environment in everything we do. That means diversifying for the benefit of our clients and our development, committing to energy transition and responsible finance, and transforming by investing to deliver sustainable value. We're dedicated to fostering a culture of collaboration, diversity, and inclusion that supports growth on all levels. Our commitment extends beyond our walls to the communities where we live and work. Giving back and supporting local and human services charities is a foundational part of our culture. We believe it's our civic responsibility to help improve the quality of life for those around us. Through Together for Better, our global philanthropic program, we actively partner with charities and organizations worldwide to strengthen our communities and focus on key issues that help people live better lives workforce development, and access to quality education for disadvantaged youth. Our employees are encouraged to engage with causes by giving their personal time, expertise, and financial donations. This allows them to truly become personally involved with the charities they support. From Best Buddies International and Pine Street Inn to Academy of the Pacific Rim and the Home for Little Wanderers, our unique approach to charitable partnership has earned widespread recognition. We're proud to say that our associates have been named Boston's most generous employees for 10 years running, and 4 out of 5 of our employees give every year, because we recognize that when our communities thrive, everyone wins, and we're helping to build a better world, one investment at a time.
As you can see, I work alongside some great people. To the Natixis staff and the virtual audience, thank you for supporting all of our community efforts and for showing up for the Red Cross today. Like the Red Cross, Natixis Investment Managers is a global organization. First and foremost, we think it's important to support the community here in Boston, but we also try to make a difference around the world. Holly mentioned earlier what an important role the Red Cross is playing to support the people of Ukraine. Having seen the amazing work they do, I'm proud to say that Natixis and our parent company, BPCE, are donating $5 million to the Red Cross efforts in Ukraine. We are proud to be supporting their work there as well as right here in Boston. I hope everyone watching has been as inspired by the Red Cross and the heroes we've seen today as my colleagues and I have been. And with that, I want to get back to Melody in the studio for an update on where our fundraising tally stands.
All right, David, thank you so much. And thanks to John Statler as well for taking the time to present David's Heritage Award while traveling. He's making time for us still. Of course, thank you to everyone at home who is watching this morning and donating. Thank you to everyone at Natixis Investments for giving your time, of course, for opening your wallets to help make Boston the great city it is. I know there's a lot of time and energy that goes into all of this, so we're hugely grateful. Equally important, thanks to everyone in the virtual room right now, all of you with your computers open, whether you're at home or at work, maybe you're enjoying breakfast while watching this morning and contributing to the Red Cross. Thank you so much. We're again trying to reach our goal. We've already reached it, $580,000 by 9 o'clock this morning. It's only 8:42 and we're there. We're past the goal. Here's the thing though, we're hearing some of you are having trouble with the online donation button right now. So don't go anywhere. There's still another way for you to help. If you're having trouble with that button, all you have to do is text Hero Boston 2022, Hero Boston 2022 to the number 76278. Type the word give and then the amount of money that you want to donate, and we will make sure it happens. Again, just follow the prompts. That's text Hero Boston 2022 to 76278 and follow the prompts to give there. So this event and the generosity that's on display is just one example of what can happen, right? When a community comes together, when so many people donate their time and their efforts. But it's not the only example. When you work in a field that expects you to put yourself in harm's way for the benefit of others, you form a bond with everyone else around you who does that job as well. The word may be brotherhood, but really it encompasses all genders, all races, and all backgrounds. Today, our Firefighter Hero Award not only honors a New Hampshire fire captain who was badly burned rescuing several people, but the Boston firefighter community who rallied around his family while he was in the hospital. The American Red Cross Firefighter Hero is sponsored by National Grid.
In about 40 seconds, I was involved in direct fire contact, and eventually they were able to get the ladder, and I fell about 20 feet to the ground. And at that point, Companies on Scene assisted me on starting rendering medical aid to myself, and then I was transported to the hospital from there. I had second and third degree burns over a little over 30% of my body. Third-degree burns on my left arm, my left hand, my left ear, all the way down the back of both legs. I had severe second-degree burns mixed in on my left arm, the back side of my head, my right ear, and under my right arm, I had a small area of second degree as well. Luckily, I have an amazing support system through the department. You always know it's a tight-knit community, the fire service, but to be on the other side of it and to be the recipient of it is a whole different perspective for me. My son, so he stayed by my side for that first week, along with my wife. Then they found out he was playing a game the next day, and I was adamant about him still playing. The next day, seeing the pictures of all the firefighters showing up at his game, the Quincy guys, the Boston guys, the support was overwhelming. I find myself just kind of thinking about, what could I have done different? What could have actually happened? How close I was to losing my life. I got hurt and we lost one life, but we were able to save 6 others, which is extremely rewarding, and it's gratifying to know that the amount of time and energy and the dedication we put into our careers pays off.
What a way to cap off our Hero Awards. Now you see why I needed the box of tissues, right? And also why I was so excited and truly honored to host the event again this year. The amount raised as of right now is $600,000. $600,000. Thank you. Look, with everything that's going on in our world right now, I think we all earned this hour of inspiration from those amazing heroes. Let's send it back to the Natixis Investment Managers studio, where Red Cross CEO Holly Grant and David Junta have some final thoughts.
Thank you, Melody. I've been thinking a lot lately about a famous quote from Clara Barton. In a work called The Red Cross in Peace and War, Clara wrote simply, "In times of peace and prosperity, prepare for war and calamity." But it's not as dark as it sounds. Clara is basically saying that the best way to provide hope when the worst happens is to already have the tools in place, to be prepared. That's the common thread between all the heroes you met today. When that moment of need came, they drew on what was already inside and acted. And though you may not realize it, that's what each of you is doing today too. By supporting this breakfast, our largest fundraiser, you are making it possible for the Red Cross to be ready when the time comes. The money raised here will allow us to continue to teach kids about fire prevention, to train young swimmers and future lifeguards, to certify more people in CPR and first aid, to make sure life-saving blood products are always on hospital shelves, and to be the voice of hope connecting the men and women serving overseas to their families back home. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us for an inspiring morning. And David, thank you just doesn't seem like a big enough phrase to cover everything you and Natixis Investment Managers have done for the Red Cross.
Holly, it's our pleasure. Now that I have seen more how the Red Cross operates, I'm so excited to spread the word. And that brings up a great point. For everyone in the audience, now that you've seen what your neighbors can do, please keep an eye out for heroes we may have missed. Nominations are already open for the 2023 Heroes Breakfast. I can't wait to see what we'll have in store. For now, though, let's head back to Melody Mendez in the studio.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Holly. I am going to mark my calendar, and with any luck, hopefully we'll be able to share this event in person next year. And look, it bears repeating, all of you who have joined us today make the work of the Red Cross possible with your generous donations, your generous financial donations, and volunteer hours as well. The blood that you give, the financial gifts, it's all hugely important to the work of the Red Cross. The clock says 8:49, and our total says $601,000. Thank you so much for everyone who took part. Thank you for making this happen. Thank you to our heroes for inspiring us all this morning, for leading with that inspiration and setting such a high bar for the rest of us. Thank you to the Heroes Council for finding such a deserving cohort of heroes. There were so many worthy nominations. I can't imagine how difficult it was to decide and narrow it down. And thank you to the Leadership Council for sharing the news of this incredible event with all of your networks and generating support from businesses across the community. Thanks to my own team and the media's sponsor, the event's media sponsor, I should say, NBC Boston and Telemundo stations, which include NBC 10 Boston, NBC Sports Boston, Telemundo, Nueva Inglaterra, and NECN. Thank you to all the corporate sponsors out there. Natixis Investment Managers, each Hero Category Award sponsor, the Virtual Challenge sponsors, and the Platinum and Gold sponsors. Most importantly, thank you to the Red Cross for being there wherever there is at any given moment since way back in 1881. I know we're not together in person, but please humor me and give me a round of applause wherever you are to close out the celebration this morning. Thank you all.
It's Deuces Wise Jr. for the New England Patriots. Proud of all my Massachusetts heroes. Let's hear it for the Red Cross heroes at this breakfast.
Put your bad memories to bed. I could be the unsung hero. I could lay the world at your feet. Baby, if you'd lean on me, I'll hold you up for all to see.